No, 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 Pirates fans. This is this. Welcome to the Sicko Sound Off. I'm Dougie Fresh, and tonight we're going to be breaking down a variety of topics, including Paul Skenes winning the Cy Young and his comments afterwards, Pirates' financial flexibility, and whatever the sickos want to bring our way. This is the North Shore 9 Sicko Sound Off, presented by our good friends at FanDuel. We're going to start tonight. We're going to be, we've got a couple people in the wings ready to go. We're going to provide a link in the comment section. If you want to join in, hit that link. We can get you in there now. This is it's just going to be an open discussion. Whatever's on your mind, bring it to us. We're going to start out with the infamous AEIOU, sometimes Y, also known as Peter, better known as Neil's brother. If you think Neil is the dreamboat on this podcast, maybe, but he's not the dreamboat in his family. That is his brother's Peter. So let's welcome Peter to the Sicko Sound Off. Peter, how you doing?
I am doing wonderful tonight. How are you doing, Doug?
I am excellent. I am excellent. I do want to state that Peter may bring up his support for Derek Shelton. I'm not sure. We know, it's in the family DNA. But
Yes.
Peter, why don't we start out with, Paul Skenes, our favorite topic and one that makes us happy. And since I get a feeling that we're not always going to be discussing happy things tonight, Paul Skenes won the Cy Young. He won unanimously. He now joins Dwight Gooden as the only guy to win Rookie of the Year. And then in his second season, followed up with the Cy Young. He is the best pitcher in the world right now, and probably the best pitcher the Pirates have ever had. He doesn't need any more time. But he won the Cy Young. Kudos to him. And then he came out and he somewhat debunked the rumors that were flying about him wanting to be a Yankee and all that sort of thing. He was very, very declarative in his statements about wanting to win in Pittsburgh. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm really glad that he came out and debunked those statements because I really do not want him to become a Yankee. I really don't want him to become a Dodger either, but especially a Yankee because, uh, in addition to loving the Pirates, my favorite team is the Rays. So the Pirates are my second favorite team, but the Rays are my favorite team. I still love
Oh
MSI.
man,
But
that's a
like as
bad beat right
as an
there.
AL East rival, I hate the Yankees. I hate them. I want them to lose, and I do not want Paul Skeens sniffing anywhere near New York. And also, I hate the big markets too, or at least some of them. Like mostly the Yankees and the Dodgers because they feel that they're entitled to all the best players and all the best things, and that all the other teams serve as basically glorified farm systems for them. And the national media supports them in this endeavor, like with the whole like Paul Skeens should be traded. It's not fair that the Pirates actually have a good player. It's like small teams don't deserve anything nice. It's
I,
all big
I
market because
agree. I
that's
agree to a point, right? I don't want Paul Skeens going to any of those teams. However, I don't blame those teams. Those teams should want to acquire Paul Skeens. I don't think it's them. It is the national media, it's their local media, and then it's their fan base who like, what is he doing in Pittsburgh? Just wasting away. And I guess, perhaps there's some truth to that. But right, they don't they're not entitled to him, right? You got it's and I think MLB does itself a disservice by ignoring all its other markets other than New York and LA and say Atlanta, Chicago, that sort of thing. So then when you get a World Series that has Kansas City or somebody in it, nobody knows anybody, and then you lose some ratings, that sort of thing. But MLB has been, making lots of mistakes. My least favorite place for Paul Skeens to go would be the Chicago Cubs.
mm,
I don't want him in the division. I don't. I mean, and it's sad that I guess we consider it a foregone conclusion that he's gone. To me, that's what the great failing, one of the many great failings of Bob Nutting is that he's got this generational talent. This guy that could build his brand better than it could ever be built. There's nothing that could happen to the Pirates in the future that will be equal to having Paul Skeens on his team. And he's doing business as usual. He should be pushing his chips in and borrowing chips from somebody else. He should be trying to figure out a way to extend Paul Skeens and then build his business. Take this as a 20-year approach, but I don't know. So
I guess the
we
question is, would you like Paul C? I mean, I definitely agree with that to a certain extent, that you would want Bob Nutting to be pushing in. The only thing that I might have a little bit of a thing is like the Angels, they managed to get the bag with Mike Trout. Like they gave him a huge contract. They've got him forever. They've signed him, and but they also do so many other financial mismanagement that although they have their guy, they can't push beyond that. And despite even having Otani on the same team, they still couldn't really do anything in the playoffs. So
Right.
I wonder if, like, I guess I'm supportive of, like, I want more franchise players. So I agree with you. Like, I want
Yeah.
I want them to invest in to invest in players that matter. Um, and realizing that that's something that's really important um, for maintaining interest in the small franchises to have your players. But I wonder if, like, thinking about my own team, the Rays, and the fact that the Rays don't really do that either, but the Rays are sort of on the hyper end. It's of any player gets really notable, they will usually sell them off at a certain point once their value reaches the maximum. But they've still kept a few players, like Brandon Lau's been on the team since 2017, and Pete Fairbanks was on the team from 2018. So the good players they keep, and I actually wonder if that might be better for the Pirates. Like if they could develop talent like Brandon Lau's, like Yandy Diaz's, if letting the Paul Skenes walk might actually be better if they could get that secondary talent in the $10 million players, the $12 million players. If they could hold on to those that are like 120, 140 WRC plus players, I wonder if maybe that would be the way that the Pirates could get success in the future. I
Well,
don't
I mean, yeah, it was definitely the Pirates' plan, right? They drafted Henry Davis, number one. They drafted Tamar Johnson. They drafted Nick Gonzalez, and they just haven't got the bang for the buck. I mean, the problem is when you're on this Razor's Edge, you've you've got to hit. You've got to hit on these top five, top
know.
seven picks. The Angels are a good example, right? They've got money. And they won Otani in the bidding war. Again, they drafted Mike Trout, a smart draft pick, and then they signed Pujols, when he was 72 years old to a 10-year contract. Like having money is no guarantee, right? I mean, it's so when people just think, oh, the Pirates need to spend more money, they need to spend more money, but they need to spend it wisely, and they haven't done anything wisely. So yeah, it's tough, and Tampa does it probably better than anybody. They're right. They trade these guys, and then they get good value in return. So yeah, but I mean, like the best thing the Pirates could do is have Connor Griffin hit, have Henry break out, have that sort of thing. Have Nick Gonzalez blow up. That's breakout season by O'Neill Cruz. That I mean, they're never going, say they did something crazy and they spend $450 million and they get schemes for the next 8-10 years, what have you. They still got to get all the other stuff right, or he's
Mm,
losing 1-0. you know, um,
yep. And yeah, and I wonder, but I mean, I guess the one thing the Pirates did do right is the Spencer Horwitz trade. But
yeah,
you don't expect that trades are gonna end up justifying themselves because of gambling incidents and because of off the field incidents, which you can't really plan for. Um, but you're right that the Pirates need to win in by building up the rest of the team, and that unfortunately Paul Skenes doesn't have a lot of support behind him.
yeah.
Do you think? Sorry, this is going back to something that I'm curious about. Like, do you think that gambling is good for the sport in the sense, like, do you think that it's better because it's regulated? Do you think it should go back to being banned? Personally, myself, I am very strongly against any open connection between gambling and sports. It's something like where even if it happened in the past when it was unregulated, the open exposure is going to force more people to do it. And even if there's some more monitoring of the gambling that's going on, I think that it's going to encourage more players to do it just because they see it everywhere. It's on their shirts, it's on their billboards. Everybody's doing it. Like, I know high schoolers who are doing it
Yeah.
illegally. There are so many different like there's already so many things that are happening illegally, even with this regulated thing, that I think that the Luis Ortiz situation or the Emmanuel Clase, those are things that are going to happen more and more the longer, the more that betting is promoted in the sport.
I disagree. When Pete Rose was banned for gambling, right? It was then said, he broke the number one rule in baseball. It's on the door of every clubhouse. If you are too stupid, or if you are so stupid that you'll give a multi-million-dollar career away for $5,000, let's get you out of the game. It's only a matter of time before you do something stupid or more stupid that'll embarrass the league more. I don't think any institution, government, organization is there to protect us from ourselves. Yes, it's more accessible, so more people will probably do it. No doubt. You can do it now on your phone. You don't have to call a bookie. But I don't like when we make rules and laws that are based on the bad 1% type thing. What Clase and Ortiz did was just really, really, really stupid. They weren't throwing these pitches to get $20 million. And it's how dumb can you be? And look, it's the toothpaste is out of the tube. The MLB, all the sports, they're making a ton of money off this. I don't think it would be a terrible idea to take away prop bets on individual players. Right. So you can eliminate that incentive that way, because there's always going to be somebody. I mean, first of all, there's a lot of stupid people out there. Secondly, guys on early contracts they get drafted and then spend like they've got, a Shohei contract, and that's not quite how it works. And they get themselves into trouble. And here's the solution. Get a friend to bet $10,000 that you're going to throw more balls than strikes or whatever. So it's a dangerous thing, but we're surrounded by dangerous stuff. If it's not if you're not gambling and it's not steroids, it's something. There's always something out there to get you. And when you get yourself in this position, you've got to be smart. You got to be vigilant.
Right. Well, I guess I can see that. I mean, I would just say that, I definitely agree that we should get rid of prop bets, because that in particular is something that I think has become more possible the more people have bet. Because when you're doing illegal, behind the scenes, shady gambling, you're not going to be fretting over whether or not a pitcher throws a first pitch as a ball or a strike. That level of nuance and detail isn't going to happen. So I think that there does need to be, but I feel like that if you got rid of prop bets, or that I think would serve it. But or at least that would be a good start.
It's somewhere to start. It's something to think about anyway. All right, Peter, thank you so much for joining us on Sicko Sound Off, presented by FanDuel, ironically.
Yes. All right, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it was great. Straighten Neil out for me, would you please? He's been mean to me lately. Next.
Okay. I'll make sure to do that.
Next, I think we're bringing in Connor, old friend Connor. See what Connor, I'm sure, has got something in the chamber ready for us. So there we are. There's Connor. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Doug. How you been?
I'm excellent. How about you? Yeah. Or I can. I've been having
weird issues with my mic recently. I don't know what's going on.
It's a poor workman that blames his tools, Connor.
Paul Skenes, better or worse than Miguel Del Pozo? What do we think?
Yeah,
what do we think, Kat?
I don't want to go out on a limb. It's too early.
I think it's incredibly funny that there's a genuine statistical case for Miguel Del Pozo to be the worst MLB pitcher ever. Like, if you sort by like highest ERA, minimum 20 appearances, or like the first 20 appearances of a career, like Del Pozo's second. It's something like he has like an ERA near 20 in his first 20 appearances. Yeah, and Ben Carrington has been the GM that has acquired both Miguel Del Pozo and the best pitcher through his first 30 starts in Paul Skenes. I don't think there's anything interesting to be gleaned from that, but I just find it crazy.
Yeah, and he doesn't get the credit he deserves for Skenes. People seem to forget that there was a vigorous debate about him or Dylan Cruz.
If you had asked me a month before the draft, I would have wanted Cruz.
Most people did. That was the thing. Well, it started out, it was Cruz was the, Skenes hadn't really broken out in that way yet. And Dylan Cruz had been great the year before. But yeah, I mean, right up until the draft. I mean, I remember watching our guys cover the draft and they were saying, well, maybe I hope it's Cruz, but I'll be happy with either one. Maybe I hope it's, that sort of thing. So to Ben Cherington's credit, and I am obviously one of his biggest, critics, he got that one right. He certainly did. So, what are you thinking about the Pirates offseason and their financial?
I've been getting new hobbies, so I don't have to think about it.
Ah, excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the healthy thing to do.
That's
but that doesn't qualify you to be on Sicko Sound Off.
I do have thoughts because, of course, I do. I'm a loudmouth.
You fit right in, brother.
Yeah. Otherwise, why would I be here?
Yeah.
I can live with them being incompetent. I can live with them being cheap. I can't. Well, that's debatable, but I'm still upset about it. I tolerate it. It's whatever. It's the Pirates. What I can't stand is that it seems like they're lying. That Ben Cherington has spent the entire offseason saying he has more, quote, flexibility than he has ever had. And my immediate thought was, well, you spent what, $34 million and change 2 off seasons ago on Marco Gonzalez, Aroldis Chapman, Edward Olivares, Martin Perez, Rowdy Tellez, Michael Taylor, and there's somebody I'm missing there. Anyways, they spent like 34 and change on external ads 2 years ago. Yasmani Grandal. And he's out here saying, well, we have more flexibility than we've ever had. And
but it's the word flexibility. He's not saying we've raised the payroll to higher than any time since I've been here. He's saying we have more flexibility. Well, sure. You traded Hayes, you traded Bednar, you cleared out some payroll. You're probably most likely trading Keller.
You only have 30 to 40 million to spend. Like, that's not even true.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, you're dumping more money, which is really what it always comes back to, because it's, Hayes needed to go. That needed to be a contract that they traded, as pitiful as that deal was. There was 30 million guaranteed left on that. I'm okay with offloading that. The one that really proved where it's like, oh, okay, you're doing this to save money, in my mind, was Bednar. Because Bednar had surplus value.
Yes, he did.
And they traded him at that deadline for what I think was a return less than his true worth. A, because Flores was cheap. And B, because they had no leverage over other teams, because other teams knew that they were looking to dump David Bednar, even though he had surplus value. Like, that is the goal, if you're the Pirates, should be to find players with surplus value.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the entire goal of a small market team. And then
their goal is first and foremost financial flexibility. I mean, that's the problem. They're not, they're not trying to acquire the best players. They're trying to find players that might do something, but are cost controlled.
Yes.
And, I mean, God, you heard this when you're 8 years old. It takes money to make money. You know what I'm saying? That's just, Bob Dunning has proof. 2013, 14, and 15, his highest payrolls, his most successful teams, his highest profits. Yet, here we are 10 years later, 12 years later from 13, and he still hasn't, thought, gee, maybe if I invest into this a little, we can get something back, and we can build a fan base, and we can grow our fan base every single season. And that 20 years from now, right, we'll be averaging 25, 27,000 fans every game, even with or without a Paul Skenes. So,
right. But and it really shouldn't detract from Paul Skenes' greatness, because this is what you have to go back to. Like, is Herb Score is one of the better. You have to go back like 70 years to find a comp that doesn't sound completely insane.
Right, it's Vita Blue.
Yeah,
I'm thinking like 1967. Herb Score, right? Bob Feller.
In terms of a start to a career, there's really just nothing comparable. I would encourage everybody. On Baseball Reference, if you scroll down far enough, there are most similar players, and they have some sort of index that calculates it. Paul Skenes has broken that.
Yeah,
it's all players from like the late 19th century, and some of them aren't even pitchers. He's completely broken the similarity score on baseball.
You can compare him to Dwight Gooden a little. I mean, again, that's way back for you, but I was an adult when that happened, and he was.
Well, I would
Rookie of the
assume
Year.
Herb scores way back even for you. That was
no. I saw Herb. I saw Herb's rookie season. I was there. But yeah, I mean, Gooden won Rookie of the Year, followed up next year with the Cy Young, and then wasn't too long after that he ran into some problems. I don't see those kind of problems being an issue for Paul Skenes. I think he is going to be durable. I think he's going to be consistently great. It's going to be funny how we discuss him when his ERA is 2.07 1 year. And we're like, oh no, what's wrong with Paul Skenes?
Well, we already had that earlier this year. What if Paul Skenes doesn't pitch better?
Yeah. I remember when DiNardo and our super all-star producer tonight, Tyler, were basically giving the Rookie of the Year to Jackson Merrill in San Diego because Paul Skenes had a game where he gave up like 3 runs or something, and he looked a little flat. The shape of his fastball.
To be fair, Tyler said that because he didn't want the Pirates to lose the year of control. Back to producing.
Fair.
Well, I didn't know we had that option. All right.
So what do you? So let's put aside our anger for a moment that the Pirates only have, by their own admission, $30 or $40 million to spend. That when they say flexibility, they really mean trading Mitch Keller for a guy who's cheap. Let's put the anger aside for that for a moment. The reality is they have 30 or 40 million to spend. How would you delegate this offseason, Doug? Because I know what I want, but I'm curious as to what.
I mean, again, the 2 positions most notably are third base and left field, right? I mean, I wouldn't be mad if they did something at catcher, but I think, they've got 4 catchers that they sort of, are hoping somebody out of that quagmire comes through. So to me, you try to go get, I mean, I'd love to see some sort of Eugenio Suarez and a Cody Bellinger thing.
That's not happening.
But that's not happening. I wouldn't mind seeing a trade for Alec Bohm and from the Phillies at third, and then
Well, the reason why they won't add a long-term commitment is the same reason why they're trying to get under Keller. They hate having future commitments. They're okay with spending the same amount that they did last year or something similar to it. They might end up a little over, they might end up a little under. But what they really care about is that, we don't have these long future commitments. Because that seems to be their goal, is to dump
I mean, right. But the thing with Suarez, you get him for 3 years. He is old. But anyway, Connor, great stuff. We got.
Well, here's what I want them to do. Right?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Let you finish.
I get out. I want them to pick the bones of the Twins roster. I think they're the clearest. I'm not talking about Buxton. Buxton has a no trade clause, a full no trade clause. I'm not talking about Royce Lewis because they're not going to trade Royce Lewis at the nadir of his value. I'd be shocked if they did.
That's a Pirate move. Right?
Yeah, that would be a Pirate move. What I'm talking about are Matt Wallner, Ryan Jeffers, and maybe Cody Clemens. Those are all major league players. Cody Clemens, maybe we'll see if he can reproduce the power numbers he put up this year. But if he can, then he's a valuable pop first utility guy. Ryan Jeffers, I don't see, the Twins have been blustering this offseason as, we're going to add. I don't really buy it. I don't see the vision of adding to that team after they completely dismantled it.
And it's what makes me that people like Buxton might want to leave. I mean, if they're stripping this down as to the bones like it looks like they are, he might waive that no trade.
That's where it comes. Like Matt Wallner has 2 or 3 years left of control. That one's going to be the hardest one to get because he has some control left. But I mean, Ryan Jeffers, he's in a walk year. He's a catcher. They're not going to extend a 30-year-old catcher heading into a rebuild. Or Cody Clemens, as a 30-year-old ARB eligible utility guy, what purpose does he have on a tanking team? Those are the players that I think the Taylor Ward, Joe Adele stuff. I mean, we've been talking about trading for Angels players for years. The entire league has. They just don't do it.
Right.
And as open as the Rays are for business, they're not moving Yandy Diaz. They've been
Oh, and
offered.
I don't want to
move.
trade with the Rays. Their general manager's smart. Like, we'll get fleeced. That's no.
I'm
That guy
saying
knows what he's doing.
what I'm saying is the most obvious sellers in the league are Twins, and you should go get their major league players.
Yeah, I mean, it's an intriguing idea for sure. I mean, all this stuff,
Especially
like,
because I don't want Joey Bart on this team again. I think.
yeah. Well, I think you might be stuck with that. We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, Connor, again, thank you for coming on. It was great to see you. So we'll see you up at the tailgate this year. Let me bring John on now, and
Take care, man.
Yes, sir. You look great, buddy. John, welcome to Sicko Sound Off. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Oh man,
How are
our
you?
pleasure. Well, yeah, I'm fantastic. So what's grinding your gears tonight?
I think the big thing that I've been thinking about and discussing in the Discord is the pros and cons of trading Mitch Keller. It seems like that's the one issue the fan base is pretty split evenly on, right? And I am very much pro trading Mitch Keller. I'm not sure where you fall in all of that.
I have mixed emotions about it, right? I think if they were a serious team, they wouldn't trade him because you want those innings. I know he's, not that great, but he does have moments. And again, those innings, we've got a very young and injured rotation. We're not going to get a lot of innings. Someone's going to get hurt. I think it's going to be a struggle to fill some of those innings. However, trading Mitch Keller is the best way to bring back some offense. And I don't even necessarily mean in the trade. They might go get 2 AA players in the trade, but then use the money to sign somebody, maybe even to a 2-year contract, something exciting like that.
That'd be shocking.
Yeah. Now, real quickly.
I was doing some hypothetical math earlier, and the big thing is with Mitch Keller on the team, you're looking at about $28 million to spend based on the data, anything that's come out about where they'll be at budget-wise and where they were at last year. And if you remove him, you have $45 million to spend. And that could be the difference between spending the same Tommy Pham money on a bat versus actual legit $15+ million on a bat.
Do you have anybody in mind?
There's so many players that Connor mentioned the Angels, Adele, Ward. They seem to be looking to get a center fielder, pick one of those 2 options, and maybe trade one. Like Connor also mentioned, the Twins, they have several bats that they might be able to move. And like you mentioned, there have been some rumblings that Buxton might waive his no trade clause if they continue the teardown. So there's a lot of potential options right now, and it's very early in the process. But even I feel like Seattle might want to move Randy Arozarena because their budget's getting a little loaded. And then you could also play in that second and third tier of free agency if you were willing to maybe give a second year of control. But the thing I always hear is what you mentioned, that Keller needs to be there to eat innings. It's a young staff. If you don't have Keller, it'll be a struggle to accumulate the innings that you need. And I did a little math. Last year, everybody that started a game pitched about 945 innings. And that's with Mlodzinski, all of his innings added in, even though he was both a starter and a reliever. Ashcraft, all of his innings in. That's Heaney, that's Falter, 945 innings. And they're just so deep in their pitching that I'm seeing 11, 12 names that I could see pitching in starting games for this team next year. I know Harrington kind of blew up, but he's a depth option. Mlod, I'm just going to say Mlod, is a depth option.
Carmen.
Hunter Barco only ended up throwing 3 innings for him. Jared Jones will be back. Guys that are coming up, like Antoine Kelly, Wilbur Dotel, they have some helium to them. There's a lot of depth of guys that could throw meaningful innings. And basically I did a little exercise where I traded Keller. I assumed that Ashcraft had a season-ending injury through 0 pitches. Oviedo had a season-ending injury.
Bite your
through 0
tongue. How
pitches.
dare you?
And Bubba Chandler had an injury that he missed 50 innings. and they were still able to fill all of those innings. Skenes 200, Burrows 150, Chandler 100, Jared Jones 70. He'll be back from Tommy John. It'll be lower inning for him. Barco 130, Ledzinski 100, a random veteran lefty that they always sign 100. I'm hoping for a Bailey Falter reunion. And lastly, a 95 inning stealer, Thomas Harrington, Wilbur Dotel, Antoine Kelly. You have all of the innings that the starters and the long men threw last year. And that's with 0 innings from Keller, 0 innings from Ashcraft, 0 innings from Oviedo.
I mean, again, you make a solid case, and I agree. We should trade Mitch Keller. It's just going to make me nervous, right? It's just going to make me nervous because if one of the more I don't even want to bring it up. I don't even want to talk about injuries to certain people. So
I'm not superstitious, so
yeah.
I just picked some random names.
Yeah.
I figured Oviedo, he had that lat thing. He had the Tommy John last year. Ashcraft has had many injuries, so they just seem like the two most likely candidates.
Yeah,
I don't want that to happen. I'm a big
of course,
fan.
I know, of course. Yeah, Ashcraft looks like he could be really good. I'm excited about him. I'm excited about Burrows. Burrows finished really strong until they went to his, his innings reduction. But with the Pirates, and the problem is because you have no faith in the people making the trade. And then what they do after they make the trade, right? And this would be so simple if David Arnold of the Brewers was our general manager. You'd be like, oh, yeah, of course you trade him now. Of course you do. And then you have every confidence that he's going to return a guy that, has either already proven himself at the major league level or, has a really solid start, to his career. And so I'd feel much better. I mean, the problem is I have no faith in this organization. I have no faith in them to get good return from the Keller trade. And then I have no faith in them to spend that money to bring back an actual bat or make a trade to get whatever. It's just Matt Arnold, not David Arnold.
Yeah.
I'm old for crying out loud. I can't remember all that stuff. I watched Matt Arnold's dad play.
I have gained a little bit of confidence in them the last 2 years at what they've done in terms of acquiring and developing talent. I did a very good job of identifying Spencer Horwitz as somebody to bring into the fold. They can't be given no credit for Connor Griffin and all the other prospects that have been on the rise. They actually have decent hitting prospects that are exciting for once. So from a talent identification standpoint, I'm a little bit more confident in them.
Whether it looks better, but it's still in theory. And I mean, I'll give you Horwitz, but Horwitz was mostly average player, and then he got hot at the end. And I don't know how long you've been watching the Pirates, but we've had so many guys. Yeah, we've had so many guys have a blazing finish. Chris Duffy, I think, did it 2 years in a row the last 2 months of the season. I think Horwitz is a good hitter. I think it was a good trade. And I think it was a good trade if Ortiz went out and won 15 games this year. I still think it's a good trade. I forget all the gambling stuff. Just baseball trade. I think it's a good trade. But I'm still not quite ready to say, oh yeah, Ben, do what you will, and
I didn't say I was confident. I said I was a little bit.
You felt a little better, yeah.
I feel a little bit better about it because the last trade, the trade that they're going to make is probably going to be very similar to the Horwitz trade. It's going to be somebody that is a fringe major leaguer that has some experience but hasn't really broken through and solidified a spot. Or a Quad A, AAA guy with some experience there.
A guy that's blocked, right? A guy, a third blocked. Baseman that's stuck behind, another, something of those lines. You're right. I mean, that's what they have to do. They need to make another trade like the Horwitz trade, and then instead of a Tommy Pham signing, we need a guy with a 3+ WAR, acquisition.
Yeah, and I think the trades that you make there, you can find guys in ARB 2, ARB 3 that are making $10-ish million for a team that wants to get rid of their contract. It's scary dealing with the Rockies because the Coors Field effect, but I'm a big proponent of Mickey Moniak, They
Former
should,
first overall pick.
yeah.
Right, Ben Charrington loves that stuff. So yeah.
So he should be able to be had for next to nothing because the Rockies are rebuilding, and they've already mentioned that they're willing to trade hitting for pitching. So that's a potential target. Detroit has said that they're looking for more pitching, and they have several bats that are blocked. Jahmai Jones is one that comes to mind. That he only had about 150 plate appearances last year, but they were very, very good plate appearances. He if you pull up his StatCast page, it's all red. So that's some targets that I'm after.
Yeah. Now, quick, folks, if you want to get in on this, come on, sickos. All you got to do is hit the link. We'll get you right in. What do you think about keeping Keller, say, and then trading, say, a Bubba or an Ashcraft to get a more dynamic type, hitting prospect back?
I mean, that's definitely
going to the Red
a
Sox,
route
trying to get, Abreu or somebody like that.
That's a route you could go. I really like Bubba Chandler. I know you have to give up something to get something. I kind of feel like Ashcraft would maybe be the sweet spot there, where you could get something. If you go on MLB trade values or anything like that, or if you believe in surplus value, Braxton Ashcraft is about the same surplus value as Jordan Lawler, the blocked shortstop for the Diamondbacks. He was in discussion to go first overall when Henry Davis was.
Yeah, he was.
So that would be a potential move that I could look at and be intrigued by.
So if you acquire Lawler, where do you play him?
Oh, shortstop.
What do you do with Connor
Griffin?
Griffin?
Play him at natural shortstop. Triolo plays third. You can take your time with getting Griffin up here. I don't want to take my time. Then you need to extend him. If you want him up here soon, you need to extend him. You play the same thing you did that the Orioles did with Jackson Holiday, which is I think you can play like 10 AAA games and still be PPI eligible, but play him the 10 AAA games, and in those first 10 games, sign him to a big extension. And then you have your cake and eat it too. He's PPI eligible. He can get your draft pick, but you have his years locked up, because I just don't want whoever said that he's not blocked. Perdomo was like a 6 WAR player last year. But anyway, I don't want him to happen to him what's happened to Skenes, where he wins Rookie of the Year and you lose a year of control. That'd be a bummer. I feel like in hindsight, the Pirates did slightly mishandle Skenes from an asset perspective, and I wouldn't want that to happen again. And it seems like
I think they screwed it up. Yeah, I mean, they lost the year. They got nothing out of it. They should have got the draft pick. They should have had faith in him. I bet him on FanDuel to win Rookie of the Year when it was 2,000 to 1. Right.
Wow.
And that was obviously in the off season, but I had faith. And Ben Charrington should know more than I do.
Yeah, and they could have done the same strategy in the majors where he just slowly builds up. It could have been the same thing where you start him in the bullpen, go 2 innings, go 3 innings, then make his way to start, go 4 innings, go 5 innings. There's no reason why they couldn't have done that at the major league level and acquired a PPI pick. That was a mistake, and I just don't want that same mistake to happen with Connor Griffin.
Absolutely. No, I mean, I was on here, I guess it was just, last Friday, and we discussed, I'm like, bring him up, start him day one. But like you said, give him the 10 days in AAA, but extend him now. There's too many. I don't know how good a hitter he'll be, but he's going to be solid. And then, he's going to always steal bases. He's going to be a good defender. He's a high character dude. He's got strong, family support and that sort of thing. I don't think if he comes up here and scuffles a little and has to be sent down for a little, that it'll, crush his confidence forever. I don't believe that at all. And so, I'd say you bring him up and see what happens. So,
yeah, I think his floor right now is like Cedane Rafaela for the Red Sox, who his offense was a little below average. His defense was very good, and he ended up being a 3.5 to 4 WAR player. Because Connor Griffin, even if he doesn't hit, even if he's like a 90 weighted runs created plus guy, he's still going to have the defensive value. He won the minor league Gold Glove at shortstop for a reason. He stole 65 bases. He's going to get on base. He's going to steal a lot. And
he's going to
he'll still have
work.
the sneaky pop.
He's going to
He's gonna
work,
work.
right. He's going to put in the effort. You're not worried that he's out there pouting or hanging his head. That he's going to he's going to grind, and he's going to continue to improve. Like he'll never be satisfied. So
yeah, and I think we need more of those hungry guys in the clubhouse. The guys like Griffin, the guys like Skenes that lift up the guys that have the talent and just haven't achieved.
Yeah, exactly. These guys are culture changers, right? They're gonna,
and that's what's needed.
It's always best when your best players are your hardest working players.
Absolutely.
It just sets such a tone. It's like nobody could just half-ass it. When those guys are out there just working to get better all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I see your all-star producers wanting to start wrapping things up.
All-star, superstar. I mean, he's
superstar,
top of his game.
I will say that
I guess we've been going for a little while.
You guys should join the Discord if you're listening to this. It's a lot of fun, and getting to come on here, this is also a lot of fun. So,
and you should also remember that we are brought to you by FanDuel. So, and there has been no negative connotations, anything with gambling these days. FanDuel is a place to go. Act responsibly and have a good time. And, maybe add a little excitement to the game and maybe add a few bucks to your pocket. So is that it? My superstar producer, or do we have anybody
I don't know.
else?
I mean, if you don't have anything else to talk about, the main thing I want to talk about was Mitch Keller, and I got to speak my piece there.
Anything else? Anything else get you? What do you think that you're going to do? Free agency.
It sounds like I'm not going to spend much. I feel like I'm really speaking it into existence that the Royals will non-tender Bailey Falter, and we will sign him for a very cheap deal.
I'd love that. That'd be great.
I don't see many other major league teams that are willing to offer him a major league deal, and he pitches so well in PNC.
Although he could go to Cincinnati with their bullpen coach now, Oscar Marine.
Yeah, but if anytime Bailey Falter was pitching in Cincinnati, you kind of held your breath. He's a fly ball pitcher that won't play well in that ballpark.
Yeah, PNC Park's very, very well made for him. And
so
Great American Small Park.
I can see them getting him back or some veteran lefty. They always bring in a lefty on a short 1-year deal that will play well in PNC. And they need to find a lefty reliever or two, unless they intend on Barco being a major lefty in the bullpen. I would maybe make there's been a lot of talk about doing reunions this year. Maybe go out and get Justin Wilson. He's still in the league.
Oh my god.
So go find him. Or I think my favorite one would be crap. I put a list together and it's escaping me.
Bring back Marte.
Bring back. That's not a crazy idea.
No, I don't.
He had a good year in very limited time, but wouldn't be my first choice. I'd kind of also like a righty masher, somebody that just really crushes lefty pitching. I think that's a hole on the roster. Like Rob Refsnyder would be really nice on a cheap 1-year, $5-6 million deal.
Where's Rob Makoviak when you need him? That would be.
Man, these are some old names.
Yeah,
but
I'm an old guy, so I try to keep my references current, early 2000s, late 90s. All right, John, thank you so much for joining us. I guess we're going to wrap up tonight. I want to say thank you
for having me.
To all of you that have tuned in and watched there in the chat. Say thank you to Peter and Connor and John for coming in and chatting with us. Thank you to our all-star superstar producer, Tyler. And thank you to FanDuel for being our presenting sponsor tonight.
Have a good night.
All right, we'll see you guys later. Thanks again. Make sure you're just checking us. We're putting content out all off season. We're committed. We're dedicated. We'll have Bucko Brews on Mondays, and then Wednesdays, or most Wednesdays, we'll do NS9 lives. We will be here for any emergency podcast if something ever happens. Like, sign, follow, join, all that stuff. Be one of us. So.
All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube, if you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.